Hi yogis and yoginis. Welcome to our chair yoga class for the throat chakra or Vishuddha. So the throat chakra obviously is in the throat area, but it includes the thyroid, jaw, neck, mouth, tongue, and larynx. The thyroid gland controls our metabolism. So if we are having imbalance in the throat chakra, that can develop as imbalance in the thyroid gland with the metabolism. We want to remember that the color for this chakra is sky blue. The element is ether, meaning the space above the clouds to the outer atmosphere, or space like the universe. And the mantra word is hum, like a hummingbird, hum. So we'll use that seed mantra to sing to our chakra later on to help stimulate it as well. And I wanted to just read a quote from April Saunders from doyouyoga.com. She says, Vishuddha is known as the center of purification. It is where energy within us transforms into our manifestations in the physical world. The clarity of this chakra determines our successes or failures in life. Now, you might be wondering, what does it look like if I have an imbalanced throat chakra? Well, here's what we have for signs of a blocked fifth chakra. We might have an inability to express ourselves, and we're often being misinterpreted and misunderstood. Feeling lost for words on the regular. Difficulty being honest with ourselves. We may have some physical issues like a literal lump in the throat, sore throat, grinding teeth, earaches, or sinus infections. Some people are also dealing with temporomandibular joint dysfunction, or TMJ, for the jaw. And also thyroid problems can develop. So if your thyroid is underactive, that can cause us problems. And if it's overactive, that causes problems as well. So a blocked fifth chakra can sort of develop into these physical things in the body. Now, what does it look like if you have a good balanced throat chakra? Well, we're able to speak our truth in a healthy and loving way. We're good listeners as well as effective speakers and writers, and we'll be creative, helpful, and able to ask for help when we need it. That's a good one. Able to ask for help when we need it. Sometimes that hasn't always been the case for me, and I feel like I'm getting better at that. But when we have a good balanced throat chakra, we more readily can ask for help. And so that's always a good thing. So we're going to do a practice today. We're going to share it with each other. And this practice is designed to purposely stimulate the throat chakra through breathing with the Ujjayi breath, singing or chanting with our seed mantra hum, and then of course all of these different yoga poses that help to extend the neck or relax the back of the neck, and therefore bringing balance to that area. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you'll enjoy this class. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. In our chair yoga class, we always start sitting up nice and tall on the chair, both feet flat on the ground, about hips distance apart, which is about 2 fists wide, wedged between the knees. And I'm always sitting forward on my chair, so I have room between myself and the back of the chair. So let's go ahead and start off. I always like to start off by unwinding through the chest. A couple different reasons. One, it opens up the heart, and it is a way to undo any of this forward slouching that we might have been doing during the day, right? So let's open things up. And it automatically encourages us to lift up into our very best posture. So we're sitting on the chair in a productive and active way. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose as long as those passageways are clear. And if they're not clear today, please just breathe as comfortably as you can. Now let's relax the shoulders back and down. I like to turn my palms to face forward, sitting tall in Tadasana or mountain pose. And let's tune into our Ujjayi breathing. As we inhale in through the nose, we pull the air all the way to the back of the throat, feel it swirl around back there, And then on the exhale, we exhale back out through the nose. And as we hear the sound of our Ujjayi breath, we find our focus there and allow all other thoughts to fade away. With each inhale, we're breathing peace and calm into the body and the mind. And with each exhale, we're letting go of stray thoughts, letting go of judgment and competition, even when they're directed toward ourselves, and even letting go of our own expectations today. Allowing ourselves to be pleasantly surprised by what these bodies can do when given the opportunity. And we remind ourselves to listen to the body at all times during our practice, easing up whenever needed, and giving ourselves more of a challenge whenever wanted. Now, when we're ready, let's open our eyes if they're closed and just rest your hands gently on the lap. Let's inhale tall through the crown of the head, and on the exhale, we turn the head very gently to one side. Inhaling the head back towards center, exhaling as we turn in the opposite direction. Inhaling back to the center. Now gently we tilt the head to one side. Inhaling and lifting, exhaling, tilting again. Inhale, lifting up. Now let's turn the head to look over one shoulder. On the inhale, let's lift the head on a slight diagonal as a bird looks out of its nest. And on the exhale, draw a semicircle down by the chest. And on the inhale, we lift, looking out of another bird's nest. Exhaling down. Inhaling and gently lifting. One more time in each direction. Now let's turn our head back to the center. On the inhale, let's lift one long arm up toward the ceiling, and on the exhale, let's switch. So we continue to open the chest with these long arm raises, and we start to lubricate through the shoulders here. Now, let's take both arms back, palms up, and look back to one upraised palm, and exhale the arms to the center. This time, we inhale and look to the other palm. Exhale to the center. Now, as we move through the practice today, we're going to think of a good intention for our practice. And I think today we'll say to ourselves, I will speak the truth to myself and others. A sign of a good, balanced throat chakra. I will speak the truth to myself and others. And remember, when it comes to speaking your truth to others, we also want to speak it from a place of loving kindness too. But sometimes we do have to say some hard things that need to be said. But we want to bring them out from a place of love and kindness. One more time, looking back over the shoulder and relaxing those arms. Let's inhale, pressing forward to cow pose with an arch in the back. And on the exhale, round up into cat. This is another good reason why you should be sitting forward on the chair when you practice chair yoga, because otherwise we wouldn't have any room to do these cat and cow flows. And these are certainly some of my favorite, most beneficial yoga movements here. Now, rounding into cat pose, and when we open to cow, think about extending through the neck here, stimulating that throat chakra. One more time, rounding into cat pose, coming all the way back up to a neutral position for the spine. Let's take both arms down by our side here. Let's inhale, engaging the abdominals, and on the exhale, reach on down with a tea kettle reach. Inhale, lift, lift, lift with your trunk. Exhale, reach over to the other side. Inhale as you lift, exhaling as we reach. Such a wonderful side body stretch here. One more tea kettle reach over to the side, then we come back to the center and roll those shoulders back and down. Now let's extend one long leg in front of us and reach up through the opposite arm and then exhale down. Other sides, reach up on the inhale and exhale down. Spinal balance flow. And when we flex our foot that's in the air in front of us, that helps us to lengthen all the muscles underneath that leg as well. Sitting up nice and tall, engaging the abdominal muscles at the same time. One more time using spinal balance flow. Now let's bring both feet down to, again, hips distance apart. Roll those shoulders back, reaching the arms down on the diagonal, palms forward. Let's inhale tall. On the exhale, let's hinge forward with our palms facing down. And on the inhale, we rise up and raise those arms in front of us. Exhaling into airplane hinge. Inhale, rising up. Inhaling up one more time. Take those arms out to the side and take them overhead. Swan dive to a forward fold. On the inhale, let's lift the back to a 45-degree angle for monkey, and then exhale down, rising tall as we inhale and swan diving down. Inhaling up to monkey, strong through the abdominals, and exhaling down. One more time, using our seated sun salutations to warm the body. Now let's bring those arms all the way back and down. And here we have a choice. If you want to continue to stay seated here, scooch up a little bit on the front of your chair. Take a wide stance with the legs. The toes and the knees should be pointing out in the same direction. If you'd rather stand for this part, same idea. We'll stand beside our chair on the long vacant part of your mat. I'm just going to face the camera here. I think it'll be a little bit easier for you to see me rather than me getting a little further back on the mat there. So in our wide stance, if you're standing, when you bend your knees, we want to make sure that the knees and the toes are going in the same direction here. Let's inhale, both arms overhead, reaching up to a star. And on the exhale, bring your elbows in toward your ribs as you bend down through the knees. Now, these next few movements are meant to warm up the body in a good, positive way. Now, if you are guarding the arms and you just want to do the leg parts, it would kind of just look like this. Just kind of squat down through the knees. Remember, everybody's shoulders and should be stacked right above the hips for good spinal alignment. Now, let's say tonight that you're guarding your arm or guarding your legs, you might just come here for moonflowers. Exhale when you bring the elbows in. Inhale when you reach out. So I'm hoping with these little changes, there should be something for everyone here to help get us warmed up for some deeper stretches later on. Now from here, let's gently hinge forward, hinging with bent knees if you're standing, gather, and then rise up. So I'm hinging forward, I'm gathering, and then inhale to rise. One more time, hinging forward. Now let's turn this into prayer flow. Palms touch overhead. Exhale the hands to heart center. Finding our focus on the sound of our healthy breathing. One more prayer flow here. Now, let's bring those arms to shoulder height. I'm going to turn my left palm down to the ground, and I'm going to turn my head and look to my right palm, which is up toward the ceiling. Let's inhale, and on the exhale, turn those arms. Inhale, turn them again. Shoulders spirals. So let me step back a little bit here, maybe so you can get a better idea of how this is working. So we're turning through the entire arm here, all the way up to the shoulder, rather than only turning at the wrist. One more time on each side. Now let's bring both arms up to a star pose. On the next exhale, we're gonna lean in and rest our arm on our thigh in a lunge position, and then inhale and rise up. Other side, lunging to the side for side angle. Inhale and lift. Lunging, inhale and lift. Now, one thing that I'm encountering here, and you may be too, your knee that's a little bit closer to the chair may be kind of touching the chair when you come into that lunge. So let's please don't hurt our knees here. We're really just looking for a lunge through the knee, also a little bit of balance work and some trunk work here. So let's use one more side angle flow on each side. And then relax those arms all the way back and down, bringing the feet to hips distance apart. Now let's inhale the right arm up to shoulder height, the left arm, and watching the edge of the fingertips, let's gently twist through the trunk. Inhaling that arm back to the center and exhaling down. Now we're coming to the right arm. Inhale to shoulder height. Watch the tips of the fingers as you're twisting. Inhaling back to the center and exhale down. So here we have a lateral raise with a gentle twist. One more time on each side. All right, now let's stand beside our chair cushion here. So we're gonna do pyramid pose this evening. So what I'd like you to do is stand beside your chair with your feet hips distance apart. So we're gonna start off with our right foot stepping just a short step back. So now I have a staggered stance. I'm going to inhale, straightening both legs, lifting up tall, engaging the abdominals. On the exhale, we want to lead with the heart, leading into a hinge. And this is our pyramid pose. Now I might keep my hands on the hips here. If I want to get a little lower, I might rest my hands on the chair seat. If I want to get a little lower than that, which will increase the stretch behind my front leg, I might walk on down the front leg. Now, wherever you go in pyramid, the most important thing to remember is that the hips and the shoulders and the head should always be in one long line for good spinal alignment. And if I'm resting my hands on my front leg, they should be resting, not pressing. Think about a butterfly just landing on a flower, okay? Let's take 3 more breaths in pyramid. And on the next inhale, let's gently walk all the way back up and step that back foot forward. So now we're taking the left foot a short step back. Same thing here. Inhale, straightening the legs. Exhale, hinging forward from the hips. So you listen to the body and you say, this is what I'm feeling behind the front leg. Do I want more? If so, take it down to the seat cushion. If you don't want more, stay at hands on hips. If you want to go further, maybe take it down that front leg. Remember, we're listening to our body as individuals, so whatever feels good for us, that's what we're going to go by. Now on the next inhale, let's walk ourselves all the way back up and go ahead and step those feet forward. So now let's go ahead and bring both hands to rest on the opposite arm. We're going to do a little bit of what I just call a Genie Twist here. So a little more twisting action. Let's inhale, engage the abdominal muscles. On the exhale, just a little twist to one side. Inhaling back to the center. Exhale, twisty, twisty. One more twist on each side. All right, let's relax those hands here. Now, the next pose that we'll do here is our standing camel. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Let's find that bony spot at the bottom of our spine, and let's put the hands in fists on either side of that. So we're going to inhale, lifting up through the shoulders, and on the exhale, roll them back and down. Think about zipping up your abdominal muscles here so they're engaged. Breathing rather than holding the breath. And to stimulate the throat chakra, Vishuddha, we might also stretch out the neck a little bit more. Now, I always suggest that we want to make sure we do not bend the head too far back in camel. Okay, so we want to extend through the neck here, but also be mindful of not going too far. Let's take 3 more breaths. And then gently, gently we come forward and we roll those shoulders forward several times and then roll them back and down. All right, now let's turn our chair cushion away from us, or the chair seat away from us. We're going to do a little bit of work behind the chair for the warrior series. You can always hold on to the chair for stability. If you don't want to use the chair, just move it over to the side. The same directions will apply. So start off with the right foot, stepping as far back as we can step with that whole right foot connected to the ground. And then we turn our hips to face forward. Now I've got some choices. I can hold on with both hands to my chair for stability help. Maybe I just want to use one hand. Maybe I don't want any extra help. I might choose to have both hands on the hips. So lots of choices. Looking straight ahead into the distance with a soft gaze through the eyes. This is Warrior 1. Now when we're ready, I'm going to put my left hand on the chair just for some stability help. Picking up the right foot, let's step on back into Warrior 2, like we're standing on a balance beam. The left toes are still facing forward toward my chair. My right foot is now parallel to the back of my mat, looking out over the left middle finger for Warrior 2. And you can choose to stay still or maybe flow the pose here. And if you're flowing, you're going to inhale the arms overhead as you gently straighten the front leg, then come back to that traditional warrior two. Two more breaths. Coming back to warrior two. Now let's turn that left palm up to the sky. Reach forward to serve your friends. Then tilt the upper body back. So the left hand is rising. The right hand is resting on our right leg. And you can choose to look just past that front arm. You can look straight ahead toward the long right side of your mat. Or you can look up for a balance challenge and also as a means of, again, elongating through the neck to stimulate Vishuddha. Now let's come back to warrior two. Relax the arms, stepping all the way up to the back of the chair. Let's step all the way back here for downward dog. So I've got both feet flat on the ground. I'm pressing back through my tailbone, making kind of an L shape here with my body from my fingertips down to my hips and then down to the floor, down to my feet. Feeling that long stretch through the spine. Now, I try to straighten my legs as much as is comfortable, but if you're guarding your back, please know that you can certainly bend through the knees. And you still get a wonderful lengthening of the spine at the same time. Three more breaths. Downward dog. Now let's step all the way up to the back of the chair here and roll those shoulders back and down. Wonderful. Okay, so let's do all those same poses for the warrior series on the other side. So I'm going to take my left foot as far back as I can step this time, finding that firm foundation for warrior one, a good bend in my front knee, turning my hips to face forward, whether I'm holding the chair or not. Finding a steady focal point across the room can be helpful with our balance. Now, let's go ahead and step that left foot back for warrior two. Still keeping that good bend in the front knee. Let's look out over the right middle finger. I'm going to flow my pose again here, but you're welcome to stay still if you'd rather. Two more breaths. Coming back to warrior two here, turning that right palm up toward the sky. Again, we want to reach forward to lengthen the spine, and then we tilt back for reverse warrior. Still keeping that good bend in the front knee. Let's remember that. Now let's come back to Warrior Two. Relax those arms and step up to the back of the chair. Again, we're going to take another opportunity for downward dog. Now you're welcome to stay still once again, straightening the legs as much as is comfortable, or you might pepper in a plank flow. Inhaling forward to the tiptoes, shoulders right above the wrists, kind of like a long plank of wood. Inhaling forward to plank, engaging the abdominals. Exhaling back, stretch out in downward dog. Now it's important that you have all four legs of your chair on your mat so that your chair doesn't run out from under you when you're doing your plank flow here. So let's be mindful of that. One more time through, inhaling forward, coming back to downward dog. Maybe we'll wag that dog's tail gently side to side. Just an extra stretch through the trunk tonight. And bring those wagging tails back to the center, and then we'll walk all the way up to the back of the chair. Very nice. Okay, so let's use a little bit of our tree pose here. Tree pose is long known as one of my favorite yoga poses. So let's go ahead and shift all of our balance over to one foot. Now, if you're behind the chair or beside the chair, you're always welcome to hang on to it for stability. Please know that. Let's shift all of our balance over to one foot, point through the opposite toes, and then draw that foot in. So the toes might be resting on the ground with your heel beside your calf. You might take the whole foot up to just below the knee, or you might go up high above the knee. It's whichever position feels best for you. So we're standing tall in tree. Again, if I'm behind my chair, I've got a wonderful opportunity to hang on to my chair if I want to with one hand or two, or I can always let go. And we want to try to open up the hip of our bent leg as much as is comfortable for us. And today I'm going to inhale these arms up overhead and then maybe open up my arms into a V shape, like branches of a tree, reaching out to the sun. Now let's shake out those limbs. Of course, we're going to do the same thing now on the other side of the body. So shift your balance. Decide where you want to plant those limbs, at ground level, a little bit higher just below the knee, or above the knee. And then find a steady focal point in the distance. Engaging our abdominals will help with balance. Let's inhale those arms up if you'd like, and maybe open them out into wide tree limbs. Now gently, got a little bit of tornadic winds there coming into my tree pose. So let's go ahead and come on down. Now we're going to do a moon salutation today. Now the moon salutation, I'm going to have you kind of set up your chair a little differently so that we can do this together. Now, for the moon salutation, you want to take a nice wide stance in front of your chair cushion. So I put my front two legs of the chair on the mat. the back two legs of the chair can be off. We're not really going anywhere. And I've got my wide stance facing my chair. So at one point, we're going to be hinged forward, and it may be a little hard to see me when you're in the middle of your moon salutation. So here are your choices. You can either look down and lift up just one arm at a time, and of course we'll do it on both sides, or you can add a twist here, and the arm will naturally come up with it. So we'll twist over to each side. And then I'm going to offer a lunge, just like we did earlier. So you come over to one bent knee, go over to the other bent knee, and then we rise all the way up together, okay? So let's inhale both arms overhead to a star. On the exhale, let's take a nice side bend. Inhale, lift, lift. Exhale over to the other side. Inhaling and lifting. Now exhale, hinging forward to the chair. Inhale with a twist or that mighty eagle arm, and then exhale back. Other side, twisting or the eagle arm, and then exhale back. Now let's bend one knee and come into a lunge. Exhale over to the other knee and rise up tall. Exhaling to a side bend. Inhaling as we lift. Exhale to the other side. Inhaling and lifting. Exhale, hinging forward. Inhaling with a twist. Exhale back to the chair. Inhale with the eagle wing or a twist, and exhale back. Now come on over to a lunge. Exhale over to the other side and rise up. This time we'll follow the breath. Now let's bring those strong arms all the way back down. Very nice. Now let's turn our chair back to where we started. All four legs on the floor, on the mat there. And we're going to take a forward fold, whether we're seated or standing. Let's take both arms up overhead. Swan dive with a little bend in the knee if you're standing. And let's just let the head hang down low. If you're someone who is working through vertigo, glaucoma, or uncontrolled high blood pressure, I want you to keep your chest about parallel to the floor. We would not want to put our head below the heart for those folks. And maybe we'll reach behind the legs and give them a little hug tonight. Straightening the legs only as much as is comfortable for us. Now release those arms. If you're standing, put a little bend in the knees. Everyone use strong abdominals to lift back upright and bring those arms all the way down. All right, let's have a seat on our chair here. The next pose that we're going to do tonight is called inclined plank, and it requires a couple different things. It requires us to lift up off the chair, but also to stay in good form here. So I'd like you to try this. I'd like you to, again, of course, make sure we're sitting forward on the seat as we always do for chair yoga. Hold on to your seat cushion right underneath your bottom here. So I'm holding on to the sides of my chair, and I'm going to extend my legs out long so that only my heels are connected to the ground right now. The whole rest of my foot is just lifted, exposed to the air, okay? So my heels are resting on the floor. For inclined plank, let me turn sideways. I think that'll be helpful. Inclined plank is gonna look like this. holding onto my seat, long legs, and I'm gonna point my toes. So I want you to inhale and lift your bottom off the chair. And think about making a plank of wood with the front of your body, okay? And then when we're done, we'll just sit back down. If that's not a comfortable position for you, keep the knees bent, put both feet on the ground, and lift up instead into a tabletop option, okay? So it's either bent legs for tabletop, still lifting away from the chair, or long straight legs for inclined plank. So whichever one you want to do today, let's get ready. Let's inhale and lift off the chair. And normally, I just say keep the head in line with spine, which is true. Here we might stretch a little bit through the neck. Again, not bending too far back. 4 more breaths. And when you're ready, gently lower yourself down to the chair. Whew, that's a tricky one. It's very challenging. And then go ahead and put your feet back down on the ground. So we're gonna go from that super tricky inclined plank or tabletop into a pose that is super silly, but beneficial for the throat chakra because it encourages us to stretch out our tongue. So we're gonna work on lion's pose. Lion's pose is gonna involve that press forward of the chest, much like cow pose. Well, pretty much exactly like cow pose. What we're gonna do is we're gonna inhale, sitting up tall, and then when we exhale and press forward, we're gonna stick out our tongue all the way, open our eyes up as big as they can open, and roar. So it's gonna look like this. And then we relax. Now, if making a loud roar like that, if it's hurting your throat, you can also do like a hard exhale, which would sound like this. Can you tell the difference? So if you'd rather do a hard exhale or make a roaring sound, it's totally up to you. So let's give this a try. Let's inhale. And you just stick out your tongue and roar all the way to the end of the exhale. 2 more times. Last one. Very good. So a little bit silly, but it's actually stimulating our throat chakra. So if you need some balancing help there, if the silly pose will do it, why not use it, okay? Now, just resting our hands, palms up. Let's do a little bit of that singing to our throat chakra by singing the word hum. So again, we'll inhale and then we'll say hum all the way to the end of our exhale, and we'll do it again. We're gonna go 5 times through together. You can sing it high or low and anywhere in between, doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and get started. Inhaling. Very nice. Now let's inhale, pressing forward for cow. And on the exhale, let's curl up into cat pose. Inhaling, pressing forward, exhaling and rounding. Remember, in cow, we want to try to stretch out that neck. Now let's press forward into cow, holding it here, breathing. Now round up into cat pose, 3 breaths. Coming back to a neutral position, rolling those shoulders back. Let's inhale tall. On the exhale, we turn to look over one shoulder. We inhale, looking up at a slight diagonal, and we exhale down toward the chest. Inhaling, looking out of another bird's nest. Exhaling down. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling down. One more time in each direction. Now let's come back to the center. Let's inhale tall, and let's take our right hand and rest on the left knee. On the exhale, let's start to twist, twist, twist over toward the left side of our chair. Gently, gently, we unwind. Let's switch to the other side. Left hand resting on the right knee. Inhaling, engaging the abdominals. Exhale, twisting, twisting. Coming all the way back to the center when you're ready. So let's find ourselves a comfortable position for Shavasana. You're welcome to lie down on the floor if you'd like, or just sit all the way back in your chair, whichever feels best for you. I will turn our lights down here. You're welcome to turn them down where you are. So let's find a comfortable position. You're welcome to sit all the way back in your chair now if you'd like. If you'd like, you can close your eyes. And let's allow this body and this mind some much needed rest after all of the physical work that we've shared here today. And we might imagine a sky blue lotus flower blossoming right at the throat chakra, blossoming in gratitude for all of the good throat chakra work that we've shared here tonight. Ujjayi breathing to stimulate it. Chanting our seed mantra hum to stimulate the throat chakra. And all of the poses that we use tonight that elongate through the neck or lengthen it, especially forward folds where we can let that head hang loose. Let's begin to slowly awaken these bodies from this balancing, mindful rest, inviting small movements into the fingers and the toes, gently, gently waking them. Starting to breathe a little more deeply and filling all parts of this physical body with good waking energy. And finding our hearts are shining with gratitude, grateful for this throat chakra balancing practice, grateful for the community, both near and far, sharing this yoga practice with us today, and always grateful for this body and this breath that carries us through every moment of every day. We are so, so grateful. Now, for anyone lying down for Shavasana, let's take a moment to gently bend the knees, hugging them in toward the chest. Perhaps rocking the knees gently side to side, massaging the back in a gesture of self-care. And then carefully rolling the entire body over to one side on the floor as all of us breathe in the peace, the balance, and the focus that we've shared here tonight, intending to take it with us everywhere we go. And we exhale all of the warmth, kindness, encouragement, and love that we have for each other, for the world around us, and for ourselves. And for those lying down with our eyes still closed, let's rise up to an easy seated posture on the mat. I invite each one of us here to bring the palms together at heart center. Let's rub those palms vigorously to warm them today. And let's use these warm hands to gently cover our closed eyes. And that amazing heat that we find there is inviting our eyes to slowly open, and we bring our hands down to rest upon our laps. Thank you for joining me for this throat chakra balancing practice. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that it's going to bring good balance for you if you need it. And if you didn't need any good balancing there tonight, I hope it brings you some good preventative maintenance and keeps everything running as they should be. Thank you so much for joining me. Clear minds, kind words, compassionate hearts. Namaste.